Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sunday. Kind of a weird Sunday because the entirety of today centered around me doing a stream this evening, which is something I do not normally do. On Friday, I had opened that box from Nintendo, which it was a promotional item for Triangle Strategy, and it was a really cool box. It was a giant box for what was inside, but it had all this little stuff in it. They also sent along a digital code for the game, and I wanted to try the game, and I decided to do an entire stream of it today on Sunday. The reason for that is often whenever we play RPGs for First 20, they kind of get the short end of the stick because either it has to be super long, and sometimes it's not even long enough, or we have to cut it short, which I guess those are kind of the same thing. I want First 20s to really be like 20 to 25 minutes long, and you can't do any sort of RPG justice without doing it for like at least an hour, and a lot of them need more than that to really get going. So I did a stream tonight, and I played probably the first 3 hours-ish of Triangle Strategy. So here's my thoughts on Triangle Strategy based around, the first 3 hours. It's important to note that this is a tactics RPG. If you've never played a tactics RPG, it's like a normal role-playing game, but it has a lot more complexities because usually the added complexity is movement. In a traditional RPG or traditional JRPG, you've got your guys on one side and their guys on the other, and you take turns hitting each other. In some games, there might be a line system, so you'll be in the front or the back. In a tactical RPG, you're moving around the entirety of the map, and there is a lot of stuff to consider. Your placement in relation to the enemy, but then also terrain and elevation. This is a game that features all of those different instances where you're thinking about your units individually and the strengths and weaknesses that they have, but then also their placement. How far can they move? How far can they attack once they've moved? What special abilities do they have? There's all sorts of things to consider. As a result, it is a very slow-moving game. I also tend to really take my time and dig into something like this, and I did. It's not very long into the game before they throw you into the first battle, which is supposedly it's supposed to be just like a tutorial battle, but I took like 45 minutes working my way through it. Could you have done it faster? Absolutely. I'm sure that you could have just pushed your way through it and beaten it somewhat quickly. But I really wanted to try and understand everything because they teach you a lot right at the beginning. And as a result, it took me a little bit longer. There's also an astounding amount of lore, an astounding amount of prose. There are so many cutscenes. In fact, with the way that the game is set up, you're looking at a giant world map and you choose the missions that you want to do. There's main missions, which you have to do in order to advance the story, but there's also sub-missions, which are optional. A lot of times, these missions, both sub and main, are just cutscenes. They're just cutscenes. You'll click them and there will be 10 to 25 minutes of cutscene, but that's fine because the game is like 50 hours long. So again, this is one of those experiences where like you're signing up for, it's a long haul. It's a long haul. It's not going to be a game for everyone. It just isn't. If tactical RPGs are not for you, you'll probably know immediately. There's certain genres of games that when people see them, it's just something you feel inside. You're like, oh, I don't want that. And tactical RPGs definitely are a niche subgenre of a genre in video gaming. So you either like them or you don't. That being said, if you do like them, I think that Triangle Strategy, which I have been lovingly referring to as Strangle Tragedy, has a lot to offer. The story is really good. I really enjoyed what I was playing. You've got these three different nations, and it's these three nations, but also there's kingdoms and communities within each nation. So it's actually even more complex than just the three nations, and there's all these characters to learn about, and they all have their wants and needs, and you're trying to figure out because you're from you're from one nation and you're trying to kind of figure out like what's going on with the other two nations, what you're achieving peace, but like at what cost, and what's happening within these nations that they're going along with this and agreeing, like, is there ulterior motives happening? So there's a lot of that, a lot of politics, at play. And that's just the sort of thing that gets wound up into this game, which is already, from a battle perspective, like extremely complex. So not a game for everyone by any stretch of the imagination. And in fact, I would say not even a game for most people. But for the folks that like this sort of thing, I think it's really good. And I felt like I was really engrossed. I like these sorts of games. I don't play them very often. And I don't think they're my favorite genre. But I haven't touched anything like this in a while. And I was like, this is really cool. It's so easy to start feeling like you're getting the swing of it in the battle, and you're like, okay, I think I'm doing good. And then you make like one wrong move and you quickly get overwhelmed. And there was actually one of the fights I was doing near the end there. I felt like I had a pretty good handle on everything. And then like one of my main troops, who's like one of my main sources of offensive power on the battlefield, he died. Like, and in this game, it's not like Fire Emblem where if a unit dies, they're gone forever. It's just for that fight. But like, I lost him for that fight, and I was like, oh crap, that's not good. And it's just because, I felt like I had a handle on it, but I made an error, and things went badly very quickly. So if you like those sorts of games, if you like those, if you like tactical RPGs, it's really what it comes down to. The games where you can sit and think about where you're going to move, what the repercussions of that move are going to be, and how you can, think ahead even a few turns down the road. And you really like reading, because it's actually fully voice acted, which is surprising to me. So if you really like cutscenes, you really like lore and world building, then Triangle Strategy could be for you. Yeah. And that's it. That's it for today. No First 20 this week. This will take the place of First 20. I'll have this VOD out on the VOD channel shortly, and then my hope is that we can cut a highlights video and post it onto Steven Plays. There's no point in just posting a 3-hour First 20 onto Steven Plays, so we'll just post the whole VOD onto the VOD channel. If people want to watch it uninterrupted, they can, and if they want, a really quick version, maybe just watching it for comedy, we'll try and get that out on Steven Plays. That would be nice if we could do that. So we'll see what we can do. Otherwise, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I need to go to bed because we have to be up pretty early in the morning. We've got some stuff going on tomorrow, so I'm gonna get some sleep. Let's meet back tomorrow, shall we?